How's it going, YouTube? Back again, finally, 2025. I left you guys back about 4 or 5 months ago in 2024, but here we are. It's time to smog my car. So I'm here to actually do that video of just swapping out my exhaust system, and then I'm going to also attempt do my wheels. So like I said, 2024, I left you guys on a little, I'm going to be doing this, but before I can throw those on, I need to do the extended wheel studs, and so I'm going to attempt to do that today, and hopefully get those wheels on to finally reveal them, with that being the new year, track season starting. So I want to be able to have those on there and get that ready to go, because those are going to be my designated track wheels. So I want to make sure I at least get those on and be able to see the fitment. Those are going to be 18.9.5 plus 22 versus our 18.8.5. I think I don't know the offset, so, but those are the Evo 10 wheels. So if you know the offset on that, post it in the comments and I'll add that. But let's go ahead and get started with the exhaust. We're going to replace the downpipe, the exhaust manifold, the O2 housing, and the cat. So I got to pull the downpipe and the cat down, and we'll get started. So I got the car up on jack stands, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and remove the heat shield, and once I do that, I'm going to actually get underneath. I want to go underneath to get the downpipe and O2 off first, or loosen at least, because there is a bracket on the O2, not on the O2, but on the turbo to the block that I want to get loosened up. What that does is it helps when you start loosening up the top manifold bolts. You're able to pull the manifold back and be able to wiggle that up and out. So we want to go ahead and do that so the manifold is easy to come off. You do want to be careful when you're doing the manifold that you don't puncture your radiator. Ask me how I know. I've done that, obviously. So we're gonna go ahead and start doing that, start taking things apart, and I'll come back to you when this is all done. I will show you where that bracket is if you don't know. I'll try to videotape this process so I can show you the tips and tricks that I did. I do have, again, as I mentioned in the previous episodes, I do have a JDC stud kit on the manifold, the O2 housing, and the turbo to the O2 housing, or turbo to the manifold, sorry. So I do have a bunch of stud kits to make it a lot easier instead of what comes OEM, in my opinion. So let me get this off and I'll start showing you a little bit of tips and tricks if there's any that was helpful for me. So ran into a little issue, and I had to end up dremeling, cutting up the shield. So well, I didn't cut the shield, I cut the bolt that actually connects right here. It seized on there, and I was able to break it loose finally. But with all that work, I ended up having to take off the radiator. So here we are. 1 hour job now, 4 hours in. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to stop tonight, get some food in me, and then I'm going to go and take apart the rest of this tomorrow. So, and then now I'm going to have to go buy some radiator fluid to go ahead and put this in. That's my CSF OEM replacement radiator. I kind of go over a review if you want to see that in an earlier video. But here it is. I don't know if you can tell. Let's see if I can get it in some light. But I ended up using the Dremel and got a flat head in there and finally broke it loose. So anti-seize, maybe, possibly could have saved my life for the future. So I'll have to go ahead and, I don't know if I'm gonna be running the shield just because the fitment on this one is kind of not the best, but we'll see what I end up doing. If I do, I'll have to buy, I'm missing a washer for one of them, but so that would put all four there, but I might just buy another one, just the bolt and the washer, two washers. But yeah, point is it's out. We can get back to taking this off tomorrow. So see ya tomorrow, guys. What's up, YouTube? It's actually been a week since that last clip, but I had family come into town and we are kind of doing a little bit of car shopping for the wife. So it took a little bit of time to get back into the garage and actually work on the car. So I am going to do, I think we left off with getting underneath and unbolting the majority of everything down below. So we'll do the bracket, turbo tube, block bracket, we'll do the O2 housing, and what I want to do is just remove the whole O2 housing and downpipe together as one piece if possible. I think it can come out as one piece. It shouldn't be too bad, especially now I got no radiator. And then what we'll do is we'll come up top and finish this up. So with it being loose, and what I'll do is also I'll loosen this up too so we can wiggle this down here, and then these don't have to come off immediately. So let me go ahead and get started. We'll go ahead and take off that O2 sensor and keep taking everything apart. So what I remembered about dropping it as a whole when I got under there is you can't. A couple of reasons. There's another bolt that's kind of hidden underneath where the downpipe is. You'll be able to see it. I'll be able to show you when I get underneath, but you won't be able to drop this whole thing as a whole all the way down. So what I have to do is actually remove the downpipe and let's see. So where am I? So right back there. Let me see if I can kind of point it out. So right back there, I need to get that bolt out back in that back corner. And then might be upside down a little bit, but that bolt right there is the one that's the bracket, and I'm missing the bolt to the block. So what I'll do is drop the downpipe. I'll have to remove the one brace I have, and then I'll just do the downpipe and test pipe as one, and then come back for the O2 housing and manifold. So I'll go ahead and get that going, and we'll be back after that. Alright, so I was able to get the manifold off. I got the O2, that's the OEM down there that I'm going to sneak up from up top. I got the O2 sensor already hooked up. So get that in focus. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put a little bit of anti-seize on the titanium. The heat tends to expand these a little bit more than I imagined. So I want to get it to where we're not going to have any troubles taking it off again when I go back. So from here, I'll put some anti-seize. Something like this should work, no problem. And then I'll start buttoning it all back up. Downpipe's already off, and we'll get the manifold on and go from there. So after you see this, we'll have everything pretty much buttoned up above and beneath, and we'll go from there. And the only thing I need to do is actually get some radiator fluid. It's the only thing I don't have with me right now. So I'll see if maybe I can stop over at the Mitsubishi place, or I'll dealership, or I will see if maybe AutoZone has some coolant for the car. So that's the next step. So you'll see it in a flash. All right. So I got the manifold on, O2 housing, the downpipe on. So you can see that's all put back together. Got the so I have, let's see if I can focus. This brace was fine, but that last brace, so there are issues on some of the threads, so I chased the threads on those and got that back on. So when I get the exhaust back on, at least I can get that braces back. And eventually I want to do all the Cusco braces underneath. You can see the cat's on, everything's all bolted up. The only issue I have right now is, let's fucking roll over onto this side. Okay, so got the O2 housing. Don't mind the cat, it's flipped, I know. But right there on where that bung is, so my downpipe, test pipe don't have the O2 sensor. So I have to install the sensor back here. But I started to notice that it's titanium and it was weak, and it looks like there's, you know, when you tighten it, it flexes, and there is a tiny hole you can kind of see. You can kind of see the exhaust leaking. Oh, let's see if I can. Sorry. But right there, right in that black spot. That was probably horrible, but you get the idea. So eventually, I have filler rod, but I don't have a welder anymore. I used to weld at my last job, and I could have fixed this, but I'll have to figure out what I can do there. Other than that, everything is, oh, sorry, my hand was in the way. Everything else is buttoned up. The couple of things like I said, I fixed was down there, and what I also do want to fix is this wire. This is for the MR gauges. This is for the oil temp sensor. So that snapped. Let's zoom back out. So that snapped. So while I have the car up in the air, I will fix this. I have all the stuff to fix it. And yeah, so that's pretty much it for now. What I'll do is actually, the next thing you'll see is after I fix the wires, you'll see the wheels. That'll be next. So we'll be right back. So I'm back. It's been a couple of days. Weekends have been tough, with April being our busiest month with my wife and I, family and stuff. But what we're doing now is we're going to actually got to do the radiator fluid. Actually, I just put 1 whole gallon in there and it's gone. So I'm going to keep filling it up until we can get at least a little bit up here, so we can properly burp the system. So I'm going to go ahead and keep adding more fluids. I'm using the Zrex Asian Vehicle 50/50 blend, green stuff. So give me 1 second. Let me try to do this with one hand. Grab a knife. So I like to just not open the whole thing, what I do is I go about halfway of just like this, pull this back. And then we'll pour some more in here. Let's see if I can do this with one hand. Oh, that's heavy. All right, let me put you down. I'll fill it up and start going again. All right, so now you can see that I filled it up just a little bit above the line, enough to where it has space to burp. You're gonna want to keep your eyes on that because you don't want it to get all the way empty and create more air in the system. I do have a hard pipe. Usually it's nice to have a little bit of a soft pipe up here because you can kind of squeeze and help burp the system, but not a big deal. I've done it before and never caused any issues, so let's go ahead and burp the system, and then we can finally get to the wheels. Okay, so I'm bleeding the system. I turned on the car, obviously, and you put it on defrost, so I have both front and back going. And what you're going to do is you're going to hold the RPMs. Well, right now it's already holding at 1500, which is fine. And you're just going to monitor your radiator fluid. Once you start seeing all the bubbles go away, you'll turn off the system and you can actually drive the car. So what I'll do is I'll probably do this for 10-15 minutes, see if any bubbles come out, and then go from there. So about a few minutes in, actually I noticed that we just got some bubbles, so thermostat is opening up, so we'll let that keep doing its thing. Getting all those bubbles out. The frost is getting nice and hot. Car's getting to temp. You actually just need your regular defrost. You don't need your rear because that doesn't connect to the radiator system. So you can see it going. What I did was I revved to about two to 2.5. I would hold it there for a couple of minutes, and then I would let off, and then you can kind of see the bubbles from there. So you can see I actually was pumping earlier the bottom radiator hose line. That helped burp the system a little bit too. So we'll keep going, and once the system is done bleeding, I'll cap it all off. I'll pour back the radiator fluid into the gallon Zurex, the remaining of it, and we'll start the wheels. Alright, so in total I used the 1 whole gallon here and nearly 2 quarts or 1 quart here, so that's kind of how much you're going to need for doing just the radiator when you're removing it, and whatever comes out from your hoses, your radiator hoses, just to give you a reference of, you know, I almost bought just one, and then I remembered, oh no, I should get a second one just in case. And thankfully I did, because I don't have any distilled water at home, so this saved me. Again, I'm 50/50 Zurex, and this is perfect. Doesn't say Mitsubishi, but I had green radiator fluid in my car already, and I've been using the same stuff and it's been great, so I'm going to stick with that. Now that everything's all buttoned back up, we had, obviously you saw the intercoolers, everything's all nice put back together. I do hate this system. Every time I try to put the fan in, and maybe I'm just doing it wrong, but I keep damaging this bottom corner of my radiator. It's gonna bite me in the ass one day. Excuse my language, but it was a cheap end CSF radiator. I didn't have a lot of money at the time, and I punctured a hole in it, and I needed one, so this was the best option for me at that time. Eventually, maybe I'll go CSF or Koyo or Mishimoto, full aluminum tanks, and maybe that might make the fitment better. I know I've talked about that in previous video, but in the meantime, this is what I got to do. So, car's put back together, everything's bolted up, ready for smog. The last thing I want to do is, of course, the wheels. So let me go ahead and see if I can get started on that, and we'll get through that. We'll have to do the backs. The backs are going to be the pain. These are going to be where you have to take off the hub. So hopefully I'll be able to do all of that. Otherwise, the car's going to sit on jack stands for a lot longer than I anticipated. So let's keep going. So actually I went and did the smog first because I don't know how long the car's going to sit on jack stands doing this. This is my first time doing wheel studs myself, period, at all. On my last Evo I didn't do it, never got to, but so I wanted to do it with this one because I do have a wider set of wheels that I did not have when I was running my last Evo. So what I'm going to do is revert all this back, put my exhaust, everything all back to where it was, and we're going to start the wheels. So let's do this in a flash. All right, some YouTube magic. We got everything back on, tested, make sure there wasn't any exhaust leaks. Small exhaust leak on the 2-bolt flanges, but for now it's okay. Not very bad at all. So I'll have to get some gaskets for those. Other than that, the gaskets up here are good. Everything's up here tightened down. O2 center, O2 housing. So everything's been put back together. So the last things that I need to do is just get the bracing back on. The O2 downpipe, O2 housing, Tomei manifold, all of that back to the Greddy exhaust, all back together. So we'll start the wheels. We'll go see how that goes. So I got the wheel off. What I'm going to do is we're going to zoom in on that. Get the caliper off, get the brake rotor off, and then there is a way to knock these out. So I'm going to start with the front first because it's a lot easier, and then work my way to the back. So I'll knock out the 2 front, get those done, be able to drop it, roll the car forward because there's not a lot of space back in my garage. So I'll have to roll the car forward, and if I don't have enough time, I don't want to be back there and not be able to finish. So I'll be able to realize how far I get tonight, and that way I can keep going. So let me go ahead and take off all of this, and you'll see it without that in just a second. Alright, so I'm done. So I actually bought this off eBay. So what I had to do was, after I took off the rotor and the caliper, you put it on like this. You get the 12 by 1.5 and you run it down, and then you ugga-dugga it until it seats all the way in the back. I am noticing that, I don't know if it's just me, but these I forgot what the brand, Rays I think these are, but I noticed that they're struggling on the other side to go all the way down. This side, it felt like it went pretty good, but for some reason, I don't know what's going on, but on my passenger side, these were struggling a little bit. I don't know if it's a faulty ARP stud set or what. I chased it, everything seemed fine, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I don't get stranded someday. So now that the fronts are done, we'll go ahead and take care of the back. So I started removing the caliper and obviously the caliper and the rotor. The bolts are, you can't see from here, but maybe we can get it back here. See if I can turn on some light for you. But you can see there's 2 bolts up here, and then 2 on the other side. Kind of what I was following was, you know, you get this lower control arm undone, and you only have to do it from this from your shock. But when I undid it, I actually noticed that this side that goes to back there started to flex a lot. So what do you guys think? You think that I need to replace that? Is that pretty bad? Is that normal for this? Because it's adjustable. You're supposed to be able to adjust it, but so it has the degrees on it. So it's the first time I've ever taken this off, so I'm not sure if that's normal. Leave a comment in the down below. Let me know. Never seen that, but now that I got that off, this should come off. I should be able to knock these out with a wrench. I'm gonna kind of put some WD-40 on it, see if I can loosen it up. But yeah, let's go ahead and get that off and get these off, and then this nut will come off, so that way the whole hub can come off. But I already removed it. I removed the cotter pin, and I already kind of popped it, so you can press it in. So let's go ahead and do that and pull these out so I can do the rears. Alright, so I started doing the wheel studs. I got one on, but I wanted to show what I had to kind of do. As I mentioned before, you want to have it as flush as possible, so there should be no gap. I bought this tool off of Amazon, so this is supposed to spin, so that way as you tighten it, it doesn't damage it. What I ended up having to do was I put a couple of spacers, washers back here, because there is, can you see it? There's obviously that lip, right? You can't put this whole thing on there, so I shoved a couple of washers down there and a nice fat one that covers the whole space so that this sits flat. And I ran it down. Seems to work fine. Seems like it did a great job. I did it on the first one, but I wanted to make sure I point that out because it was going in at an angle without the washers, so I wanted to try to keep it as straight as possible. So I'll knock these out and we'll put it back together and do the other side. Alright, so we got the studs on, and what I already started was the bolts in the back for the hub. All we're going to do is everything in reverse. So we're going to tighten down the hub and then put the control arm back on and bolt that up, torque everything down, put the caliper and the rotor back on, and be done. It wasn't actually as bad as I thought. I think the only thing that I had an issue with is full transparency. This Amazon piece, you can see it's cracked, but it still works really well. The 3 washer and the big washer actually helped a lot on the back. So if you end up doing this, definitely recommend finding couple of washers to put back there. Jeez. And that way it sits kind of flush. It was really easy on the backs. Didn't have any issues other than this cracking. You can kind of see that, but again, you can see it still spins. It's not affecting it yet, but yeah, that's my only negative on this. It did end up cracking, and that could have been me from putting the washers and just doing it that way, or just because it's an Amazon knockoff of whatever brand. So I'll go ahead and finish up this, get this all tightened up, put the wheel back on, and do the other side.
so pretty, 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 pretty. Baby girl, you are so pretty, 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 pretty. Females made you just to trick me, trick me, trick me, trick me. 'Cause baby girl, you are so easily pretty. The only reason that I can do tonight is 'cause I know you were invited. The only reason that this dress is skin tight is 'cause I thought that you would like it. I'm only come for the secret outside.
Alright, so NT03s, Enkeys, 18, 9.5 plus 27. Have a 10 mil spacer from JHM, and then the Rays lug nuts, ARP studs. So, what do you think? I think it looks great. I'm so pumped right now. These look great. These are not the tire specs I wanted. See if I can find them for you. They're a lot, way more stretched than I would like, but I got it off of a Subi Bro, so, you know, stretched life, I guess. But they had good tires, so that's why I kind of wanted to get them. That's kind of where I'm at. Other than that, I'll run these for a little bit, get some nice thick wall tires, no stretch, maybe stick with the 255s, maybe go 265s, and yeah, and eventually it's time for coilovers. This wheel gap is killing me, so hopefully soon we'll get that. All right, thank you for watching. I'm exhausted. This took a lot longer than I wanted to because a lot of stuff was happening. This was actually shot over, believe it or not, a month. That's why I haven't been really posting. April was really busy. Beginning of the year was kind of rough for me. Had some personal stuff go on, so I was dealing with a lot of mental health stuff. So, but I'm trying to get back into it and clean this up. So, man, does that look good. Oh, so happy. All right, everyone, thank you, and I'll see you on the next episode.